Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap'S Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now, if I can be accused of being guilty of anything in my life, it is I have a bit of a habit of accumulating far too many dress shoes and dress boots as I have gone through life. If I look at my current collection, I would say it's somewhere between 20 and 30 pairs, but to be honest, I'm not counting, because if I don't count how many pairs I've got, I can't be held accountable for collecting that many. So I'm saying it's around about 20 pairs, and that is what I will swear to, but don't hold me to that. But it is fair to say, in most aspects of my life, I am also very attracted to minimalism, right? If I had my way, and I'm pleased to say I don't, but if I had my way in my house, it would just be simply a chair, a television, very simple, very minimalist, very sleek. That's what I'm deeply attracted to. And I also like having a very small number of very capable items in my life. You know, if I have a penknife, I want it to be one which is attractive but functional, capable. I only want to have one penknife. I don't want to have loads and loads and have the difficulty of choosing. And the same can be said for footwear. All right? I like the idea of having a very small, very simple collection. How small a collection, you ask? Well, I've been wrestling with the question myself right now. If I could only have one pair of dress shoes, what would I choose? What style would I have? What colour would I choose? What sort of sole would it have? And this has been something which I have been wrangling with over the last few weeks. Now, there was a lot to consider, but I've made my choice. It is under this cloth. I'm going to unveil it for you in just a moment, but I can tell you there was a lot to consider, because the intentionally well-dressed man, which I consider myself to be, has to consider quite a few things when choosing if he's only going to have one pair of shoes, what that pair of shoes has to fulfill in his life. Because we live in an era really where life teeters towards mostly casual, but with always potential formality in our lives. And I tend to live a life which I like to be a little more formal, right? I like to go to events where one has to dress up. So as regards to that, I'm looking for that casuality, but can easily be dressed up as well. And also, I want something which is a little durable. I can wear it throughout the year. And it is versatile, but it's also sophisticated. And I'm not going to keep you in the dark any longer. The shoes which I have chosen to be my one and done, my single shoe collection, is the full wingtip brogue in oxblood colour. Now, I'm going to unpack for you the reason why the full wingtip was my shoe of choice. But before I do that, I think we all just need to reflect upon what a full wingtip brogue shoe actually is. Now, quite simply, this is actually a shoe. I reached out to my good friends at Chap'S, which is a UK-based shoe company. They have their offices up in Northampton. I called into their offices when I was there just the other day, and they provided me with this beautiful example of exactly the shoe which I would choose if I only had one shoe in my wardrobe to call upon. This is actually what they call the Chap'S Cambridge shoe, and it is a good iteration of the full wingtip brogue. Now, for a start, it's Oxford lacing, right? This means the laces are part of the shoe. They are not flaps which are on top. It gives the shoe a slightly sleeker look and leans it into the more formal class of things. The other type, the Derby style shoe, for me, a little more country oriented, a little more casual. Of course, the thing which makes the full wingtip is the broguing. And the reason why it's called a wingtip is this broguing here all around the shoe, but particularly this sort of W shape of broguing, which is clearly evident just on the vamp and the toe cap of the shoe. That W shape is said to mimic the appearance of a bird's wing in flight. That upward swoosh of the wing That's where the shoe gets its name from. But of course we also get broguing on the medallion of the shoe, the toe cap, that sort of intrinsic broguing which makes the name, the wingtip, and then we have it around the lacing system and around the hind quarters as well. And for me, this is a classic example of a full wingtip brogue, Oxford lacing style, broguing throughout. And I just want to thank Thomas Bird of London for providing me this pair of shoes to make this video. They didn't have to, I asked them to, not sponsored content, nothing like that, but I actually didn't have the pair of shoes that I would like to have as my one shoe collection actually in my collection at the moment. I am on the lookout for the perfect pair. And Thomas Brogue gave me this pair of Cambridges, which is the classic, beautiful oxblood or burgundy style. It is a hybrid sole, so you've got leather and you've got rubber on the heel and on the main part of the shoe, the sole, which gives you the adhesion and the sure-footedness that you want maybe in the winter, in an icy time of year, but still with the elegance of the leather. The sole is actually stitched using the Blake stitching method to the upper, so you've got a good mechanical connection there. Artisan made in Italy, and they are of beautiful colour, because I know they are hand coloured, hand burnished, hand polished. So thank you very much to Thomas Bird for providing me this Cambridge model for me to talk about today, and just to show you the shoe that I would choose if I could only have one. So why would I choose this shoe as my single shoe choice? Now, the first reason why it's going to be the full wingtip for me as my one shoe collection is its ability to show versatility for every occasion. It excels in its ability to straddle that line between formal and casual and everything in between. Because that broguing for me, it adds character. It adds distinction to the shoe, which shows it's got texture, it's got pattern, and that means it's got the chops really to be worn with a suit, pretty much of any colour, by the way. The beauty of oxblood and burgundy means you can wear it with anything. A navy suit, a charcoal grey suit. Just about the only coloured suit you can't wear this with is black, but everything else, greens, browns, your traditional greys and blues, goes with everything. And I think the wingtip brogue absolutely is something you can wear with a pair of chinos, with a tweed suit, tweed trousers, if you want to tone it down. Even dark denim, this shoe will pair very nicely with, and it'll go with your suit. So whether you're attending a wedding, a business meeting, or going out for drinks with friends, I think the oxblood full wingtip brogue is the shoe which will get the job done. Now, another reason why I rather love the wingtip for my wardrobe is the aesthetic appeal and the timeless character which comes from a shoe like this. Because, you know, its defining feature is the broguing. That W-shaped sort of wingtipping on the toe cap, the broguing throughout, that texture, that pattern, it brings character. It uplifts the clothes that you're wearing. And when you think, what's the alternative? Well, you might be wearing a sort of plain cap to Oxford. Even if you wore a plain cap to Oxford in this colour, I think it looks rather austere. It's all plain surfaces, you know, unless you put a good shine on it, it's going to look rather benign, rather without character, uncomplicated, one would say. But the wingtip brings something extra to the party. It shows that you're a person who's thought about, you know, what you're wearing, and you've chosen this over the industry standard, the cap toe Oxford, which is quite frankly boring and what everybody else in the world is actually wearing. So for me, the brogue, it brings something to the party which other shoes don't. And for me, a guy 1 foot in looking smart and elegant, another foot in heritage and tradition. I like the fact that the brogue's been keeping intentionally well-dressed men looking smart for more than a century, and it will do for a century into the future. It just brings that aesthetic appeal which is lacking in less interesting footwear. Now, the last reason why I would choose a wingtip is comfort and longevity. Because when you think about it, a quality pair of brogues like this, which has been made in a traditional mechanism, whether you've got a Goodyear welted sole or like this, a Blake stitch sole, so the sole is actually stitched to the upper, there's no cement or glue involved, it's a mechanical grip between bottom and upper of the shoe, you know that they are going to last for a long time. In fact, when they wear out, you can take them to a good cobbler or send them back to the originating factory if that's an option, and they can refurbish the shoe and they can come back looking like new. And this can go on time after time. How do I know this? The oldest pair of shoes which I have in my personal collection is a suede pair of full wingtip brogues, just like these, but I have owned them for 33 years. I bought them in 1992 in Germany. I wear them every year, mostly in the summer months, not consistently, but in the summer months, and they are still going strong. And I imagine I will be passing those shoes on to my son in due course, because when you invest in good quality, as long as you buy something which is well made of good components, you're looking for something like a fine quality leather that looks good, feels good, it's going to serve you well for many, many, many years into the future and repay your investment in that quality time and time again. So, gentlemen, I know it's a horrible thought for us gentlemen who enjoy our footwear and we like building a little collection, that we can choose a different shoe for a different outfit, a different colour, a different time of year, a different sole to match the environment that we're in and the changing seasons. I would hate to have to actually go down to just one pair of shoes. But if I did, it's good to have a plan. And for me, it would be the full wingtip brogue, because it's got me covered. Whether I'm going to a state event where everybody is dressed marvellously in beautiful lounge suits, or whether I'm just throwing on a more casual outfit for go out for drinks or a meal with friends in a bar downtown, I know this pair of shoes has got me covered. Not only has it got me covered, but I am still going to be the best dressed man in the room with shoes like these at my disposal. So there we go. Thanks for Thomas Bird for providing these for me today. I'll put a link to their website down below. Not sponsored. Doesn't matter to me if you look at it or buy anything, but I thank them for providing the demonstration shoes that I've used today to talk about the shoes that I would buy if I could only have one pair in my collection. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you take issue with my choice, let me know in the comment section below. Drop me a question, send me an email. I'd love to try and turn your question into a response in a future video. If you'd like to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee, one-off thing, or small, tiny monthly fee. You can be a member of my Patreon community and benefit from the additional videos I make exclusively for my patrons every week, and also a personal dialogue with me should you wish to have that. The link to my Patreon community is in the show notes below. So folks, put your best foot forward in whatever shoe you choose today, and I'll see you again very soon.